As we speak, an American city has been militarized over the objections of their governor. At the outset, I just want to say that this is a flagrant abuse of power and nothing short of an assault on our American values.
While protests over migrant raids by immigration and customs enforcement continue in Los Angeles and many other cities across the US, a Republican-led House Oversight Committee has held what it called a hearing with sanctuary state governors.
I invited these governors here today because, as the chief executives of their states, they willfully ignore federal law, shield illegal aliens, and pass the cost of free services onto their hard-working taxpayers.
Minnesota's Tim Walz, Illinois' J.B. Pritzker, and New York's Kathy Hochul all defended their respective states' immigration policies, although Mr. Walz disputed the characterization sanctuary state.
Minnesota legislature has passed no such bill making Minnesota sanctuary state, and I have signed no such law.
From outset, Republicans drew on the worst of the crimes committed by illegal immigrants, suggesting they wouldn't have happened had it not been for sanctuary state policies.
We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
Rather than going after the viral moment, I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers. No. Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders.
In response, Democrats used the hearing to blast the Trump administration over its deportation effort, repeatedly referencing Mr. Trump's order to send in the California National Guard to deal with an issue that's typically under state control.
I'm proud of my Democratic colleagues who are willing to stand up to this thuggery. Trump is a wannabe gangster, and he's showing the world what he's about.
Another issue that came up repeatedly were comments Governor Tim Walz had made during his commencement address at the University of Minnesota Law School back in May.
When you said the words modern-day Gestapo, you were referring to ICE agents.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons.
Will you apologize for what you said about ICE, comparing them to Gestapo?
ICE to identify who they are when they operate, to not use unmarked.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this governor, or honorable, can't answer the question.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made the point that ICE's often heavy-handed approach to detainment meant that even legal migrants were getting caught up in the roundup, including those with temporary protected status, or TPS.
When they say illegal versus legal immigration, they are trying to end legal status in the United States as well. Correct, Governor Pritzker, with the end of TPS and making people undocumented by removing legal status, ending legal status, and then having the audacity to call them illegal when they were here documented, correct?
Taking students' visas away from people, taking their legal right to be in the United States away from them when they've been granted maybe years earlier to stay.
Removal of illegal immigrants with a focus on dangerous gang members and others accused of crimes in the US was one of Mr. Trump's top priorities on the campaign trail, a pitch that had overwhelming public support. But by setting an arbitrary target of 3,000 daily arrests, as Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller has, ICE agents will have to raid workplaces and arrest those who've committed no crime since coming here, whether years or even decades ago.
As our law enforcement officers have been assaulted, they've been pelted with rocks and bricks. Their cars have been set on fire. Molotov cocktails have been used.
Well, all the while the hearing was underway in Washington, D.C., the Homeland Security Secretary was holding a news conference on developments in Los Angeles.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary.
During which Democratic California Senator Alex Padilla was forcibly removed from the room, an incident he spoke about afterwards.
I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed. I was not arrested. I was not detained.
On your back.
If you let my hands go and stand behind my back. If this is how this administration responds to a senator with a question, if this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community and throughout California and throughout the country.
It's the same argument that California Governor Gavin Newsom used a couple of days ago.
Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals.
Yes, such workers are still illegally in the US, but they hardly fit the description of the criminals carrying out some of the atrocities described in the House Oversight Committee hearing. The problem for Mr. Newsom and all Democrats is that the Biden administration so botched the border issue that the public for now is giving Mr. Trump the benefit of the doubt to fix the problem, even if some of what we've seen in recent days starts to erode public support for the Trump administration's handling of the situation.
Just because Donald Trump and Stephen Miller need to bump up their numbers because they can't do a good enough job in actually finding convicted criminals, you're going after moms, dads, separating parents from children. You have a voice, Republicans. Speak up.